For our first art project of the year, we're going to be working on a cityscape in 2-point perspective. For this assignment, you're just going to be taking notes on how to make a building in 2-point perspective. So for this, you're going to need a sheet of paper, something to draw a straight line with. It could be a ruler, or it could just be another sheet of paper that's folded in half. Anything that you can make a straight edge with. You're also going to need a pencil with an eraser. It's very important that for this entire project that you draw very lightly because there's a lot of erasing involved. So if you have a problem drawing lightly, make sure you hold the pencil up very high at the top of your pencil so you can softly draw your lines for this assignment. If you feel like you're falling behind, you can pause this video at any time and rewatch what you need to watch. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to turn your paper in landscape orientation like this. So the first thing we're going to do with our paper is in landscape orientation, we're going to get a ruler or a straight edge, and near the middle of your paper, you're going to draw a straight line. Remember, draw everything very lightly. So I'm going to put it somewhere near the middle. It doesn't have to be perfectly in the middle, but I'm going to hold the ruler down with the hand that I'm not drawing with, and with the hand I am drawing with, I'm holding the pencil up high like I suggested, and I'm going to softly just slide it across the paper. Now we're going to do some labeling before we get started. So this project is going to be in 2-point perspective. So at the top of your paper, you're going to label it 2, the number 2, dash point perspective. The reason I want you to label it is so you remember what we're doing. So on this line that we drew, we're going to call this the horizon line. So near the middle of the line somewhere, we're just going to label this the horizon line. H-O-R-I-Z-O-N-L-I-N-E. The horizon line is also known as our eye level. And I'll explain this more later on in the video. Now, on the horizon line, we're going to put 2 points on the horizon line. These 2 points are called vanishing points. So on the left side, on the left side edge of the paper, I'm going to put a little dot over there, and on the right side, I'm going to put a dot over here. We're going to label the one on the left vanishing point 1, and you want to label this vanishing point number 1. And this one over here is vanishing point 2. These are the 2 points that we're referring to when we're talking about 2-point perspective. These are the 2 points, the 2 vanishing points. Now what we're going to do in this assignment is learn how to draw the basic foundation of a building in 2-point perspective. Anytime you're adding a new building to your drawing, what you want to keep in mind is you want to use your straight edge and draw a straight vertical line that crosses over the horizon line. So I'm going to line up my straight edge right here, and somewhere on top of the horizon line, I'm going to softly, remember, hold it up at the top of your pencil, slide it down somewhere below the horizon line. Now the horizon line is your eye level. So if we're drawing something that starts above your eye level and goes below the eye level, that means it's on the eye level. We should not see the top or the bottom of our building. What we just drew right now is the corner of the building that's closest to us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little dot at the top of that line and at the bottom of the line. And what you're going to do is you're going to connect these dots with each one of the vanishing points like this. So you're going to put your pencil on one of the dots on the line, either the top or the bottom, and you're going to line it up with one of your vanishing points. And you're going to softly, very softly, because you're going to be erasing a lot of this later. So very softly connect the dots. You're going to do that for vanishing point 1, and you're going to line it up for vanishing point 2 also. You're going to also do the same thing for the bottom point. You're going to connect it to vanishing point 1 and vanishing point 2. Vanishing point 1, and you're going to connect it to vanishing point 2 over here. Now, the first line that we started with for our building is the corner closest to us. So what we need to do is make the left side of the building and the right side. So you can determine where you want. What I like to do is line up my straight edge with the first line I did and move it over to the left, however wide I want to make this building. And I can decide as much as I want. And then I'm gonna slide it and I'm gonna touch that first line and it's gonna go down to the bottom line like this. I'm gonna do the same thing on the right side. I'm gonna line it up with the original corner and slide it over to the right this time. If I want to make it a little wider on this side, I can slide it over more to the right and then connect those two lines right there. Now, we have finished drawing the beginning of our building in 2-point perspective. Now we just need to do some erasing. So this is the left side of the building, so everything past that, we can erase that diagonal line going to the vanishing point. We can also erase the bottom part going to the vanishing point. We're gonna do the same thing to the right side of the building. So everything to the right of the building, we're gonna erase that line going to vanishing point number 2 now. And we're gonna do the same thing on the bottom, from the end of the building, end of the right side of the building, to the vanishing point number 2. Now, there's only one more part that we need to erase, and that's the part of the horizon line that's going through the building. Notice I'm not erasing the entire horizon line because it's not getting covered up yet. But this is the foundation of our first building in 2-point perspective, and any horizon line that's going through it needs to be erased at this point. Next, I'm just gonna add one more building, the foundation of the next building. And anytime you're adding a new building to your drawing, you start off with one vertical line. So I'm gonna start again above the horizon line and go below the horizon line somewhere. So this time I'm gonna stop it like that. And you're gonna put a dot again at the top and at the bottom. And while we're taking notes, we're putting the dots. But when you do the real project, you're not gonna be using dots like this because these aren't gonna exist. These are just to make it easier to understand where you're connecting dots. Now this time I'm gonna connect the top to vanishing point 1 and to vanishing point 2 again. But there's gonna be something a little different now that I have a building already in the picture. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna connect it to vanishing point 1. Remember, draw very softly or lightly. Hold it up near the top, softly slide it. And now when I line it up to vanishing point 2 on this side on the right, notice that if I draw the line, it's gonna hit the first building. If it does that, you don't have to go all the way to the vanishing point number 2. If it touches something else, you can stop right there. You don't have to draw any further. That will save you some erasing later on. I'm gonna do the same thing for the bottom of that line that we started with. I'm gonna connect it to vanishing point 1 again, very softly. And then, once again, as I go to vanishing point 2, it will hit the first building. So when it touches the first building, I can stop right here as soon as it touches the building. Now, just like I did the first building, after we do those lines to the vanishing points, you're gonna line up your ruler to the first line that we started with, and you're gonna move it over to the left to decide how far to the left you want your building to be and connect those diagonal lines going to the vanishing points. You're gonna do the same thing for the right. Now I have an option. I can scoot it over to the right and make it a little thinner, or I can just let the entire right side of this building that's hidden behind the first building just stay that way and not put any lines. So if I wanna make it a little less wide, I can sit here and I can draw this line right here of the right side of the building. And then it's time to do some erasing. So if this is the right side of my building, everything to the right going towards the vanishing point, I can erase. And this little piece down here. And this is the left side, the farmost left side of the building. Everything to the left of that going to the vanishing point, I can erase that line. Same thing on this bottom half right here. And the last thing to erase is the horizon line that's going through my building. Now, these are the basic foundations of drawing a building in 2-point perspective. Notice that everything below your eye level, you can't see the bottom of this building, what's underneath the building, because it's on the horizon line, which is at your eye level right here. And you can't see what's on top of the building because it rises above your eye level. So just try to get this far on this part of the project before we discuss the next steps and start working on our real project. Remember, just watch this video as many times as you need to get this foundation down and that you understand what the vanishing points are, the horizon line, and that you know this is the 2-point perspective technique.